Hey guys, it's me back with another video. Today we are going to talk about Yoru and his abilities. Every single person needs to know how Yoru's abilities interact with the environment because, trust me, you need to know this. Let's go straight into his abilities. The first ability we're going to talk about is called Fake Out. It costs 100 credits. It has two firing modes. The first firing mode sends the footstep forward straight away. The second firing mode puts the footstep on the ground and it can be activated later on. It moves in the direction that it was placed. The footstep goes till a point of collision, so once it collides with something, it stops right away. The footsteps that are placed on the ground are visible to enemy players, so they will know when you're activating it. The footstep sound that it gives is actually the real footstep sound that a player usually walks with. For your team which is having Yoru and using the ability, you will hear the footstep differently, but the enemy team will hear the footsteps to be exactly like the real footsteps. So it's impossible to distinguish between a fake and a real footstep.
Decoy.
Nothing will stop these footsteps like mollies and other stuffs. It will keep going without any interruptions. It will trigger traps and cages, the sound of the cages, and that's pretty useful. You can clear 2 traps with these 2 footsteps, at least. The turret will shoot the footstep as well, which is odd and nice to detect turrets. The alarm bot also gets triggered with the footsteps. Even Raze's boom bot gets triggered. It slows down from Sage's slow orbs and will also make the sound that it's being slow. The second ability is called Blindside and it's the flashing ability. He has 2 flashes which cost 200 each. These are pop flashes, so they need to be bounced off a wall for them to work. If you throw them in the air, it doesn't work. It has to bounce off a wall for it to work. The enemies will not able to see the fact that you're throwing the flash, but they will be able to see the flash once it gets bounced off a wall. So if you're in B main ascent and you throw the flash towards market, the enemy cannot see the flash unless it bounces off the wall. The bounce is random as well, it's not consistent. It can be bounced off grounds to make pop flash entries like Phoenix, and it's pretty useful. The flash lasts around 2 seconds, but it's not exactly known. It can be bounced off models as well. So you can bounce off your allies for pop flashing corners. The next ability is called the Gate Crash ability, and all of Yoru's abilities are pretty insane. This ability is rechargeable. It requires only 2 kills to recharge. It has 2 firing modes. The left click firing mode pushes the Gate Crasher forward. The right click firing mode places the Gate Crasher on the ground. It's basically a teleportation ability. You can teleport at any given time to the point where the gate crash exists. The gate crash lasts for 20 seconds, so you have a 20-second window to use this teleportation utility. The gate crash goes forward for infinite radius and it doesn't stop during a collision. If possible, it tries to keep colliding and keep moving forward. During teleporting, there is a small window that you're vulnerable, so you need to be careful when using this ability, almost like Omen's teleportation. The enemies cannot see the ability until they come close enough, and they also cannot hear the ability until they come close enough. However, the teleportation itself is quite audible. It can be broken using bullets and abilities. So if you know that someone is, if Yoru has placed a gate crash, then you can break it using utility. It can be seen through camera and drone if you are close enough. The fact that it requires a range to see where it is, it's pretty insane, and I think they need to change this. It goes only in a horizontal way, it cannot go vertical. You cannot throw it up a surface. You can throw it down a surface, but you cannot throw it up a surface. It doesn't trigger traps and other abilities, so you cannot use this to clear corners. It has infinite radius and infinite range of activation. So you can use your footsteps to fake a sight and you use the teleportation to fall back. So you can single-handedly act as a 3-man team without requiring any more players, and you can fake sights quite nicely. The Gate Crush ability requires approximately 4 classic shots to shoot and kill, so it's around 100 HP or more. The last ability, which is the ultimate ability and which is pretty overpowered ability, I think, is the Dimensional Drift ability. What it is that it makes you invulnerable as well as invisible for a short duration of time. And it also gives you an increased running speed. It lasts for around 9 seconds or more, and you can cancel the ability at any given point of time. As stated before, you are invulnerable and invisible during this period, but there is a radius around you which is visible through dotted lines. This is the radius at which enemies can see you and can hear you. Outside this radius, they cannot see you and they cannot hear you, so you can easily flank enemies with this ability. But there is also an animation before you pull your gun out, so that makes you a bit vulnerable during the exit animation. However, you can also get information because you can see enemies in this dimension, and it's pretty insane. Nothing slows you down, no trap wires, no killjoy bots and stuff. You're just invulnerable and invisible like Reina. You can, however, get blinded just like Reina's dismiss ability, and other tools like camera and drone can see you if you're in the range. However, the ultimate will trigger Cypher trap noises if Cypher has it, just like Reina's dismiss again. It's just a small detail to note. And as mentioned before, anything inside the radius will see you. So Killjoy Alarm Bot, Killjoy Torrent, if they are inside the radius, they can see you. The camera, drone, etc. can see you. So outside that radius, you are effectively invisible at all times. It's pretty insane. The only best counter for YORU'S invisibility is Sky's ultimate, because it follows Yoru even though he is invisible, which is pretty good at least. Sky can be useful at that point. His ability takes his ultimate ability requires 7 ultimate points rather than 6, and yeah, that's every single thing that you have to know about Yoru, because there are several things that people still don't know. People think the footsteps are fake, and you can distinguish it, but yeah, you cannot distinguish the footsteps. They sound almost exactly the same, and his footsteps can trigger traps, so you need to be careful when you're deploying traps. As well as turrets and alarm bots. He is an effective counter against every agent to date. Maybe except Sage and maybe except Sky, but he's still a great counter to almost every single agent so far. He can get information, he can flank very easily, become invulnerable, invisible, teleport anywhere, fake sites, pop flash. It's just crazy. See you guys later.